Hello, hello, hello. Once again, everybody. Welcome back to another interview. Looking forward and ahead to the Stacer Events Rival Battles 001 happening tomorrow as of the time as of recording this. It's a one-person interview for the first time. We're unable to be joined by Focus, unfortunately. Something has come up and so we can't be joined, but wish him well. Looking forward to seeing that match tomorrow. But we are joined by Lab. Hello, Lab. How are you doing?
Doing okay. About yourself?
Yeah. I'm doing pretty fine. Doing all right. It's a bit of a late one, but we got a
Yeah.
Riders tournament coming up in about 2 hours, so we're gonna have to be up late tonight. It's keeping me
Uh,
prepared.
Oh
But
boy.
yeah, no, going well, going well. Good to hear. But yeah, obviously coming on up, we got a main event, and you're at the head of it, coming on in. So generally, I guess the first question would be sort of, how does it feel for '06 and specifically your category to be getting an opportunity to shine like this? Really?
You know, it's I'm 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 really happy that O6 is getting a chance to do a race. It's been one of the more inactive games of the adventure era, but I'm glad but there is a lot of legacy stuff that has been developed over the years that we would definitely like to show off as a community. And Silver No Credits Warp is basically one of the most de- rapidly developed categories as of like the last couple of years. So hopefully we can show people what that's all about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%, absolutely. And as you mentioned just there, Silver No Credit Swap, obviously, um, like you just said, one of the more developed and in-depth categories of the run, and something that you yourself have got a long history with, I know. So when it comes to that category, how exactly did you end up going down that path, getting into it, and kind of pushing it as far as you have?
At first, I was exclusively running Shadow. I had not speedrun a game yet. I was just getting kind of new to the community, and I was like, yeah, so, okay, yeah, which one should I play? I tried Shadow out, and it was really cool. So I decided to
Mm.
stick with it. Until about like a couple months later, where it's like, all right, I know how to speedrun. Silver looks really neat. I'll try Silver, and the rest is kind of history. I did jump on and off of '06 for Sonic Adventure DX and Lost Road for a little bit, but ultimately I always came back to Silver and kept trying to push down the time, and eventually it was a 50 and then a 45, and then I'm like, wait, I can push this further even. So I'm sitting at
Mm.
somewhere in the 43s.
Yeah, so it's always kind of been one of those things of you just kind of ended up here then.
Yeah, I
It
just got,
sounds
and
like
here we
without
are.
really reason. Yeah, still here today. And so how long have you been dabbling with the category for, actually, in terms of time at this
I'd
point?
say if I've been speedrunning for about 2.5 years, I think 2 of those years on and off, I've been running silver.
There you go. So, all things considered, compared to your opponent, obviously a bit more recent experience and a bit.
A
It feels weird to
bit.
say if you're fresh on the scene, but in comparison to Focus, uh,
It still
you
kind
got a
of
bit.
feels that way, but yeah.
Yeah,
Of the older
obviously.
generation, I am of the younger breed. Yeah.
Mm.
So
And obviously, when it comes to Focus, I know you're actually above him on the boards right now, but when it comes to just kind of with the category and just generally, I guess, because obviously the two of you will have gone up against each other back and forth with '06 on the leaderboards and such. What kind of things are you expecting? What kind of runner is Focus like to go up against?
um honestly, all I have to work off of is just how rusty is he? Because honestly, focus at his full power would overpower me. I think. I think he is a runner that I have respected for a long time, and I think I have not quite caught up to. But um, there could be a little rust. There could be a little um, crack in the armor. Um,
Hmm.
I don't see myself necessarily coming out on top, and I think it'd be a good match, regardless of what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because it sounds like from what I've spoken to Focus in regards, there seems to be a lot of that maybe perhaps don't know what the right word would be. Maybe just awareness of that rust going
Yeah.
in. So, you know, it seems funny to see that both of you are kind of like, well, I don't really feel like the favorite here. I feel like I'm gonna get steamrolled or something along those lines. But yeah, it's funny as well because you say at full power, whereas you actually do have the higher PB than him. But
Yeah, this was after a timing method change.
mm,
The run, the run that Focus has that is real time world record, which is what we used to use for a long, long time. He still has RTA world record at a 42:02
okay,
due to
that is
trial
what we're
skip.
using.
But we had a gentleman's agreement to not use it as it is faster if you remove all the loading screens to do the 3 missions instead of doing this incredibly long and insane skip that I think only 3 people have done in runs, if at
I
all.
think
Focus
Focus
being
said
one of
something
them.
like 50 frame perfect inputs or something like that, or something
Something
along
like
those lines.
that. Like it's something you do in the earlier stages a lot, and sometimes
Mm,
in the later stages, but it's not something you're expected to do like 50 times in a row. Maybe like 2 to 4, maybe 5 if you're trying to save something, but never
mm,
50.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
it's
there you go.
a little ridiculous.
It would be interesting to see it on the screens, but
Mm. But
well,
but we will play the funny missions, yes.
the day that shows up in a race, maybe an emulator race, we don't know, but not tomorrow. But yeah, so gonna be a bit of a close one then when it comes down to RTA and such. Obviously, that gentleman's is going to play a part, but obviously you've also got. I know obviously you omit that skip, and it's a bit more of an even ground. But when it comes to yourself and what you've kind of got in your locker, what kind of things do you feel are going to aid you, perhaps, in maybe putting you at a slight advantage?
Um, I think I'm just fresh. I've been practicing a lot recently. I've been very excited for this opportunity, and I've been pushing the envelope on silver for the past couple weeks.
Mm.
Um, I feel like I'm ready, but if that's enough, we'll see.
Yeah, no, that's a cool thing to hear. It sounds. It's funny because obviously in all of these interviews that we've done so far, I wouldn't say anybody's been unconfident, but there hasn't really been anybody who's kind of like put their chest out and said like, yeah, I'm feeling like I can do this. So that's interesting to hear from you. That is pretty cool. Um,
It
but
all
yeah,
depends.
no,
So yeah.
exactly, yeah. So looking forward to that. So the sort of recency and the lack of rust, looking to see if that can push it further forward. Um, with obviously you mentioned just there, you're still looking at sort of practicing with Silver Story. You're still quite fresh. Are you still looking to? I know you've been on a pretty hard grind lately. Is that the NCW grind that you've been on with emulator?
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously you
Well,
still got some goals in the locker.
yeah. I do want console record.
Hmm.
That is something I don't have. Nick has it at about a 2858 load list, and I have a 2930 something.
Mm.
It's done in post, so it's not easy to remember off the top of your head. But it is a necessary evil in that like loads would swing runs for like identical gameplay by say like a minute over the course of a Sonic story run, maybe 45
Jeez.
seconds to 50 seconds in the course of a Silver story run.
Did
It
I,
was ridiculous.
if I'm not wrong, there's some way to like manipulate the loads on console, right? As well,
Y-
something like that.
You
If you
keep it on and you pray.
something like yeah,
Just
that's
something like that. Like if you
that
if
doesn't
if,
sound like a
if
great meta.
if you turn it off and turn it back on, your fast loads are probably gone. But if they're
Okay.
there, they're here to stay for however long they feel like staying.
It's an interesting world, the RTA meta, but thankfully a thing of the past.
Thankfully.
But yeah, so OS has come a long way in recent years, and it's a nice opportunity for it to get this chance to shine.
Yeah.
And obviously, just speaking about sort of O6 as a whole, in terms of other categories and such, or other maybe matchups, or maybe even not just O6, just generally around the SACE community, when it comes to matchups, on things like this, on events like this, are there any other categories that you'd like to maybe see get a chance to shine? Are there any players or matchups that you'd like to see take place?
Um, honestly, a lot of the people that I would consider for a rival battle
Mhm.
have either retired or gone MIA. The O6 community is kind of in a slump right now. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna lie. There's not as much activity from the what who used to be the top brass. Um,
Hmm.
and 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 it's just a different generation of faces. So I'm not quite sure who I would like to see.
Hmm. I know
That
obviously you
that
got
is a good
some big
question.
names there. Maybe not as active, obviously the likes of Nick, Flub, and such and whatnot. But as
Yeah,
you say, maybe not
Flub's
as
still
active in the
active
game right now.
elsewhere. Yeah, Flub's
Hmm.
still active elsewhere. Nick, I haven't seen in forever, but um, Gordon's
Maybe
been
some fresh
active
faces.
in
And
Frontiers. So I don't know. Maybe some fresh faces. Who knows?
yeah, we'll see. It's all about bringing them in. It's all about giving
Yeah,
that chance.
yeah,
No,
no.
for sure, man.
I invite
Uh,
people to run the game. It's something else. It's not necessarily all Sonic. You could run Shadow or even Silver. Silver would make me
yeah.
happy. Shadow would
Out
make
of
me
my
happy.
out of my experiences with the Stacey game so far, it's definitely the funkiest from what I've
It, it,
found, and that makes for a lot of fun.
yeah, no, it's funky for sure, but it's consistently funky.
There's very few stages that lack funk in a good way, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and that goes for everything. But yeah, so obviously at the same time, we obviously talk about that. You've also got a couple other games under your belt. You've also got a couple other categories under your belt. Um, is there anything that you'd kind of maybe like to see from other games on these types of events?
Within Sacer or otherwise? Within Sacer, you have one hell of a stacked list, and I'm
You do
expected to
kind of.
add there. Um, I think since the SRV2 tournament was well received by its community, I wouldn't mind seeing a match.
Yeah, we could definitely see something like that again. It's nice
Uh,
to sort of think. I think I was speaking to Rev recently about a potential PO6 matchup, and that could be something to
yeah,
look after
no,
maybe.
no, yeah, Rev and Stomo, that would be hype. Uh,
Certainly, yeah. So for sure, no, there's a lot of pools to dip into. Could
yeah,
definitely make
no,
for an interesting one. But obviously, you mentioned the tournament there, SLB2 tournament, and I know you've got a little bit of tournament experience. Oh, actually, I don't. Off the top of my head, have you competed in a tournament yet?
I've competed in both recent SSTs and the
SST.
KG tournament.
That's right. I somehow managed to forget all
Yeah,
about
no,
them. But
yeah,
yeah, you've
I finished 13th.
SA2 bias. But
Yeah, that's too bad.
but there you go. So yeah, you've got some tournament experience on your belt.
Yeah, a
And
little bit.
when it comes to sort of the preparation for a tournament versus something like this, which is a one-off match, you know your opponent, you've got days, weeks, even at this point to practice for what you got to do. What is the difference there between the preparation for you that goes into it?
Um, for uh for something like SST last year, well, not last year. Last year was me learning the category for the SST.
Mhm.
This year was me kind of just just having fun with the category that I've learned a little better this time around. For this SST, um, the way I just wanted to stay sharp. Because I wanted to make no assumptions about my opponent, whoever they might have been, and just play my best. Because that's all you can do in a vacuum. You're
Mhm.
not you're not even if you do stream snipe, all that's going to do is just let you know where they are. It's not going to influence you or give you an advantage. It's not going to suddenly make you faster. They just magically hack the game or something. No, it's just going to let you know. That's it. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
so there's nothing really you can do to prepare besides prepare yourself. Um, and that's kind of how I've been taking this. I haven't been comparing anything to um to I haven't been comparing to anyone really. I've just been trying to push myself and try not to reset to stupid stuff or even not stupid stuff. Because mistakes in silver are punishing. A rock breaks and you're on it 50 feet in the air. You restart the section. Um, it's a very precarious balancing act, and there's always the fun final boss at the end that nobody knows what's going to happen there. You could see a potential time difference of about like minute and 20 at most if someone gets rolled and the other person gets blessed. Um, so there's definitely a lot of wild cards in silver that can
Yeah.
cost you time. And I think that's what'll make this interesting is just like how many of the crazy things that we do will work.
Mm.
Because honestly, it's all crazy. Um,
Yeah, and as you mentioned there, kind of the first proper competitive thing, I think you'd probably say that you've maybe with a category that you would consider yourself fully fleshed out with and fully at the top of the game with. So, a chance for you to probably really show what you've got in the locker, I guess.
I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't really too competitive in KAG, nor was I even close to like top 16 in Sonic. I'm lucky got Yoshi got stuck in the dishwasher. That's what got me the win,
I
honestly.
forgot about that.
And that's
Yeah,
why
you
I went
developed
two
a
and
little bit of
two.
a you developed a bit of a reputation there for somehow swinging it back right at the end through disaster to be a person.
Light
But
dash marvelous.
it was definitely something to watch. But yeah, obviously with that sense, you've got that experience in Silver Story. You've got those high placements, and yeah, as far as I've known you, you've kind of always been the Silver Story guy. So there's a reason that you're here up against Focus, and obviously that's to do with the Say Rival Battles kind of theme, which is we've got the title bout system going, and
Yeah,
this is it. This is the main event. This is the title bout for this one. If you win this, or if Focus, whoever wins this, is walking away with that title to defend. And when it comes to that opportunity, obviously, I know you. I don't believe you've held a record in the silver category
never.
before, unless I'm mistaken.
Not
No,
not on console. No,
no. So with this kind of thing, kind of to have that thing to defend, obviously it's not world record. It's not the same. I acknowledge
no.
that, but it's something kind of cool. How much does it appeal to you, the idea of having this win against Focus, the idea of holding on to that title and defending it?
I think I think it would be cool at the very least. I think I think win or lose, I'd like to put on a show alongside Focus. I'm not too terribly focused about like it's like oh I gotta win this title. I think the
Yeah.
title is just an added bonus to
Mm.
whatever that people are going to watch. Because silver is one hell of a category
Yeah, for sure.
and a race to boot. So that means you are in a one take scenario and um like it or not, you may be losing minutes to just, ceramics or boulders or whatnot. Uh,
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
it's going to be tough to say who will um, exit victorious because it's like it's just everywhere.
Yeah, so the title thing kind of being like a nice extra thing then, if it comes out that you end up on top. Um, Sort of a cool thing to maybe look forward to maybe
Yeah,
defending in future at like in a future race against someone else. In terms of potential future opponents in Silver, I'm trying to think off the top of my head of obviously I guess Nick is there if he were interested in coming back. But
I think Reverie given some time might.
mm, yeah, definitely
Uh,
interesting one.
they've shown an interest in the category. They have a pretty solid. They held record at like 1 point for about 24 hours. Sorry.
Oh,
Um,
really?
Yeah, so they've beaten one of my times, although at that time was incredibly dated. They've beaten it. I did take it back, but
Mm,
um, I it's non-trivial to get a run like they did. It's non-trivial to get the IL records that they've gotten.
mm. Very respected record player. IL player. I don't
Yeah,
think
no.
Reverie is a record player.
Rev has the PO6 sweep,
Yeah.
and they have taken a liking to many of the O6 ILs. Like any O6 IL Rev has posted has been
Mhm.
solid, if not record, um,
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
Um,
And then just one thing, sort of on obviously focus the opponent. Beg your pardon. Obviously talking a little bit about. I don't know if we want to sort of give too much away, but obviously speaking just a little bit about maybe winding down in terms of frequency of playing the category, playing the game, maybe. Um, just as someone who's gone up alongside Focus for a long period of time, I imagine, or has sort of seen him from the position you've been in within the community. Um, what kind of position does Focus hold in terms of sort of respect as a runner and in terms of sort of what he's done for the community as a runner over the years?
I I highly respect Focus as a runner. Um, he has pushed this category by 5 minutes, um, and then some before I
Mm,
joined. But telethrow which was his discovery, and everyone kind of it was a kind of craze to find like what kind of telethrow we could be use here. That was a 2020 discovery done on an accident, and Focus was running the
mm,
category for one of many marathons. I think it was ESA Winter.
mm,
Um, he's done so much for silver and so much for the game, even like daring to run 180 up gold medals, which is the 100% category. And I don't think that will be beaten in a long time. Not
mm.
just because of the breadth of things you have to do, but just how good Focus is at all of it. And I think his reputation will definitely it already precedes him, but it'll definitely if I'm not the silver guy, he's the silver guy. That's basically what my
That's for
stance on
sure.
it.
Well, we'll find out who the silver guy is.
We'll find
And
out.
that's gonna be whoever wins this is officially the silver guy for the rest of the time, or at least the next 3 months. But yeah, no, there you go. A lot of respect there, obviously,
Yeah,
and
no.
yeah, hoping to see a good performance from both of you, definitely. Just a few more things then, really, when it comes to the rest of this event. Obviously, we've got a couple other matches going on. Is there anything on the card that you've kind of seen that's caught your eye, or anything that you're looking forward to watching and tuning into?
I am really excited for Hedera versus Divu.
Mm, Dark story.
I've known both of them for a bit, and they are very close in terms of PBs and very close in terms of general skill. It's it's a different like spread between the two, but
Mhm.
I think that'll be very interesting to see what plays into it. I think in that race, Sand Ocean is going to be big uh, for for the as far as like non RNG stages go. Sand Ocean will be huge as far as deciding how that race will go. Another match I'm interested in is Scoob versus Mimic, another old school versus new school matchup. Mimic
Gamma.
has for Gamma. Mimic has gamed his way up the leaderboards ever since he started running Gamma, and it's honestly impressive to see like someone that new that high. It's crazy. Um,
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
and
So it's going to be a couple of
but
good matches there.
and Scoob, the discoverer of Scoob Skip, in this case won. There's three of them, but we numbered them,
I
and this
think
one
I
won.
think there's like a fourth one loading at this point.
Oh, really?
No,
But it has to be in Final Eight. That's the other
if
requirement.
it feels like there's this new scoop skip every few months. So
No, I think we got one for every final league. I think we're probably fine there.
Skip
Um,
for every season.
yeah, something like that.
So there we go.
So I'm interested. Even though Scoob's been out of the game, I think that would be a very interesting match because there are a couple tricks that really swing the balance. Early shot being the biggest one. You save 12 seconds or die trying. Uh,
That's yeah, absolutely.
um,
Imagine it coming down to obviously that's a best of five as well, so
yeah,
game
well,
five early shot decider would definitely be something.
I'd be on the edge of my seat. I remember watching Katie's GDQ run of Gamma Story, and I popped off visibly in the front row when she hit it. So it's consistent, but it's like everything is precariously hanging in the balance on that one trick
Mhm.
when you're saving frames the rest of the run. So I think that'll be an interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Then.
I think the last match that really caught my eye was Broby versus Superior.
Mm.
Um,
Kind of a newish runner versus someone who's got that experience, but still pretty even. Again.
Broby is nuts at a lot of games that he touches, especially Jet Set Radio. If you haven't seen Broby run Jet Set Radio, go do that.
Mm.
He's nuts.
I have heard tales.
Um, and probably described by some as the GOAT. I don't quite know if someone could fact check me on that one, but
It's a radio.
JSR is his thing. Um, and it shows that he knows how to speed run
Mm.
by his just like explosion every time there's an SST. Um, he understands like where to improve, even like at like a 33, 32, 31 level. We've seen him continuously like just get all these PBs like mid tournament. Like he comes onto the scene, he like improves his time by a minute, and then he disappears again. It's very humorous, but it's also quite impressive every time it happens. Um, Soup, on the other hand, I think is in much the same boat. He knows how to practice
Mm.
and improve. I've seen it in SA2 and I've seen it in Sonic Story and in all stories, and it's mind blowing the progress he's made throughout the past couple months. Uh, and I'm very excited to see the result between those two.
Mm.
Um, the question is, what is Bropey cooking
What
right
is
now?
Broby cooking? What is
What,
KPL cooking?
what is KPL cooking?
Nobody seems to know. But
Yeah,
I mean,
But KPL's always cooking.
I've heard somebody talk about maybe cooking up a Rose LTS match with Vintage McNugget, but we'll see about that.
Ooh,
That could be interesting. That could be being cooked.
ooh,
Apparently, two very heavy trash talkers there, but
very
that'll
very
be
good recipe.
that'll be a good
You-
interview if nothing else.
yeah.
But yeah, there we go. But yeah, no, as you mentioned, so nice enough matches there. All looking forward to each and every one. And so the sort of last question, I guess, really would be, I think we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but if we were to take sort of realism out of the picture, if we were to just kind of say a dream matchup in any SASA game, any runner, past or future runner, past or present, uh, any category, any game, what are you choosing?
If it were just anyone,
Mm,
I would like to see Liam versus DSS, like Triple Agent versus DSS in Sonic Story No Credits for,
would be a banger. Would be a
or
banger.
or or or, or Triple Agent versus Sharu. Actually, that would be a better one
It would
because
be really, yeah.
there's lore,
Oh yeah.
and I would love to see the two race. But we know that Triple Agent's retired. Sharu's somewhere, and
That's like that would be the cool thing about this if like there was just an opportunity to sort of bring like old
because
heads back for maybe just a one-off, See if
yeah, because there was a rivalry in between the two for a good
mm,
while, and then Sharu started playing StarCraft. Uh,
well,
and there you go, and the rest is history.
gone forever.
Not quite, but You
Well,
still
there we
see,
go.
yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely sounds like some great matchups there. And that's the thing. Again, '06 has a lot of depth and a lot to give that maybe we just haven't seen just yet, but we will see definitely in the coming months, I hope. And so yeah, that probably just about brings us to the end of things here. I would say that about wraps us up with questions. But obviously, again, focus isn't here, sadly. But when it comes to just final words, if you want to send a message, if you want to sort of leave any parting shot for him when he watches this maybe back, um, anything you want to leave, anything you want to say right at the end.
Right at the end, uh, I hope this is a show for everyone involved.
Hmm,
That's I hope we both do well, and I hope it's close, and I hope people are excited for the game. That's that's all I want.
there you go. I definitely think people are excited. There's a lot of hype going around. I made a damn trailer. It was cool.
It was cool. It had free cam. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a cool little trailer. The free
Yeah.
cam's kind of funky, but you know what? It was cool. I liked it. So yeah, no, there we go. I think that about wraps us up. But don't miss this one, the main event tomorrow night, as of the time of recording this, uh, at 7 p.m. Eastern. I want to say
7 Eastern.
7 Eastern. The organizer of the event here. um,
Mm.
well, there we go. But yeah, thanks, lads, for hopping on in. Been a pleasure.
Not a
Hope
problem.
you have enjoyed yourself too, and I hope you're looking forward to it.
Oh,
But yeah,
definitely.
for now, we got to get wrapped up. That's the last of the interviews, and it's all action from here on out. So tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern is when we're kicking things off, or I think so. No,
One,
let
two,
me go check. I think it might be 1 p.m.
might be
Final
one,
battles.
might be two.
It is 1 p.m. We're kicking things off at 1 p.m. with Hedera against Divu in the Dark
Ooh.
Story race. So a great way to kick things off. Don't miss it. Be here right from the off for all 6/7/ something amount of time, glorious hours. It's going to be a good one. Hope everybody's looking forward to it. I know I am. And yeah, with that said, we'll sign off then. Any last
All
things
right.
you want to say, Lem?
No. Stick around for all the matches. Enjoy the competition that people have worked to create. All
Absolutely.
of these should be close. And
Mhm.
I mean, if they weren't close, what kind of match would they be? On paper, at least.
Yeah, we've got some ones that are specifically set up for one person to win. You know, it's all scripted at
It's
the
all
end of the day
scripted.
as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean,
Everything
I'm
that
core staff
happens is
too.
kind of
I read the script.
predetermined. Okay, good. So you know the plan. Good, good, good.
Yeah.
Alrighty, but no, we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks again for hopping on in. Yeah, don't go anywhere, gamers. And if you're watching this right now, on the day it's released, then go check out the Riders tournament taking place in about an hour's time. And that'll be it from us for now. See you all at Rival Battles on Saturday night. Alright, gamers, take care.